in which the Arab League and NATO goes to war. How this will start, well, I guess it'll have to be the full Arab League. Well, Iraq declares war on Turkey. Well, this is NATO's time to shine. Not first. Because, well, and then, well, someone might fight someone off and then join the war. Maybe. Can't promise, but maybe. Bosnia and Herzegovina joins. Bulgaria obviously joins. Well, we're still working on, well, European NATO, which is a thing because it's a European countries in NATO, which is very important. Well, Austria joins, even though Austria's constitution says they're neutral. Well, I don't know about some of those extra countries, but they are wannabe NATOs. Wannabe NATO. Yeah, they want to be NATO, but they can't be NATO. And then, well, the Greek islands need to be painted. Well, now I'm like, okay, yeah, they can join. Well, it only makes sense because they're micro. And why wouldn't they want to join a successful alliance? Well, the British are called the Isles. I guess I know why, because they're an isle. Well, yeah, obviously. Well, now to color in America, because, well, kind of have to. Because America's big in this world. And now for Greenland and Canada. Select. And then make it this big. Yeah, make it that big. And look how quick we're getting Canada colored in. Well, imagine if Canada and Turks and Caicos united. Well, the Arab League doesn't really like this because they just don't. The Arab League, I don't know if they would be able to work together because, well, Morocco and Algeria are in it. See? Tunisia, look, who's in it? Can you see who's going to join this war? Well, these countries. I think this is what it looks like. I'm not sure about those two countries. Well, Syria is technically suspended. Well, Israel ends up joining for some reason. And now time to zoom in to the first area of the war. I wouldn't call it the first area of war yet, but to the first moves. Yeah, exactly. Zoom in. And now, select blue. Well, two campaigns are made. One into Turkey. Israel isn't being invaded because they're so strong, but they are surrounded. Well, Turkey gets pushed back as the first troops. Well, we are also doing it as nobody's troops are in Turkey, except a few bases probably. But I'm going to do it as there's not. Well, they push into the Kurdish region, which is good because now they can make sure they don't uprise. Well, they keep their push into Turkey because they are strong. While here, Morocco manages to make a successful campaign along with Algeria. Algeria makes a few naval spearheads. Yeah, you heard that right, and take land. Well, they push over towards Madrid. But due to not so well logistical support, well, they are forced to withdraw to here. But that's okay because, well, it leads to Morocco sending more troops and logistical support to link up to there. And then we have the Italian Peninsula, nothing happens. With naval domination firmly in their hands. Kinda not. Well, the supporting countries we could use as naval, maybe. Do you want to see naval in the future? Comment in the comments. Well, they make a naval landing and take Cyprus. And then they push into Israel. But Israel's like, how is that possible? Israel takes over themselves. Well, Israel takes over Palestine. Yeah, see? Now Palestine is firmly... Well, they managed to link up into the coast here. With NATO forces slowly arriving. Yeah, and they do that. Who starts supporting them? Well, somebody kicks someone out of their lands and joins the war now. And that person is our best friend. And somebody else gets to join because they kick someone out. That doesn't go so well for them. Well, there is conflict going on between Armenia and Azerbaijan right now. They are fighting. Well, they do that, but Turkey has more logistical support than them. Encircle and then push in. And well, they take a big chunk of the troops. And then they make another offensive. But they are kind of stalling out. From stalemate to, with some areas being able to be recaptured. It's not big gains. Not making up for it. Well, I guess as long as Israel is here, well, it's not going to go so well. As Israel is making tiny gains in the Jordan, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Egypt. I guess that's why Israel is unstoppable. Well, naval domination is made here, along with Turkey, which allows them to make a naval landing. And they take over Cyprus. Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, yeah. They take that back. It says Turkey, but Greece says they take Northern Cyprus back. Well, they managed to link up there, which, well, those troops are in trouble. And they start a big campaign into Georgia, liberating the country. And push over and link up to Azerbaijan. And, well, with this, they managed to push down to the border in some areas. Troops here fearing encirclement, they pull out. And, well, it's left for them to just push down. Well, they still encircle forces, so forces here are worried about getting encircled, so they withdraw. Well, let's go to Iberia. Well, Iberia decides, what should we do to keep Morocco from taking our countries again? Well, and Algeria. Well, they managed to make some naval landings here. Now they block the way in. But Americans are like, what are you doing? And they swoop right in. Circling forces. Well, American and Canadian troops are starting to head towards Turkey. But with a few divisions of them, along with some Portuguese and Spanish divisions, head into northern Morocco to hold the Mediterranean dominance, which America does a series of naval landings here, amphibious landings taking up the coast. They then encircle Rabat, which is a coastal city, I believe. So how do they make a landing? Well, they cross into southern Algeria, and they take a lot of lands, but Algerian troops, not really full of logistical support right now, because, well, a lot of troops are being encircled, manages to make a successful campaign to the coast. But it doesn't really matter, because America has naval dominance, so they did nothing, really. Will make American troops rethink their positions here and withdraw to the north. But it's no big loss, says Americans. When American troops get to Italy, they start their naval invasion into Tunisia. With the capture of the city of Tunis, well, Tunisia is in trouble. Algeria onto France is kind of struggling to hold American forces back. And American forces head down, encircle Rabat, take Rabat in the third battle of Rabat. Yeah, there's 3 battles of Rabat already. And, well, you can't fight a 2-front war. That's kind of the end when you're fighting powers. Well, I don't think there's any world powers in this union versus Turkey. Oh, Turkey isn't a strong one, but France, Britain, America. Like, those are 3 of the top 10 nations, and then they both have strong nations, but Turkey starts their campaign into northern Syria, find their second one. And while American troops start to arrive in Turkey, but it takes them a while to make it to Turkey because they're right there in Thrace, so they go down here along the coast. And once they get there, well, Turkey is already halfway through Syria. Israel starts bigger campaigns. And within 5 hours, they take that. Yeah, no, that's not a 5-hour war. Besides that, been like 50 days probably, maybe even 100. And they started to push out here. And while Turkey starts to push down here, Jordania is completely encircled, so they push in. They encircle Darmkis, and then they take all of Jordania's land, seizing weapons. Well, Turkey starts a campaign in northern Iraq, along with America doing America, blitzkrieging in, lightning war. They all meet up near Baghdad and go like that. And then, well, they go big boy style the rest of the way. Well, Saudi Arabia cuts all oil exports to the U.S. when this started. But America has so much oil. Can they get 45% of the world's oil? Let's see. Well, they already have like a big percent of the world's oil, so they have like 80% now, probably. Because of all the countries they've taken over. And they push down here, which is a big problem. Because Saudi Arabian forces fearing encirclement. Qatar gets encircled and falls. Some troops that get encircled in the desert decide to surrender and give up arms and join the other side to free Saudi Arabia. And then some Middle East freedom fighters rise up. Yeah, we need to get them a color, though. Well, since they're just fighting in one country, it's okay to just use one color. Well, they are pro-American, pro-democracy forces, anti-monarchist. Well, they're very strong because somehow they have American equipment. Well, America never comes unprepared to the inside. Safely. Without American forces, well, Europe would die. Yeah, they rely too much on America, just like how Canada does. Well, the fighters managed to take all this land, neutralizing the threats, but America decides, yeah, well, we still want to keep coastal dominance and tells forces, well, to do a campaign, the continuous campaign, while they're taking coast to secure naval dominance, which, well, just so I don't take the lands Americans just took, but, yeah. All the forces push in. They push to here on the coast. Well, they get ahead of American forces, which is pretty good for them. Good for you. Yeah, kind of. America is starting to get allies in the Middle East again. Yemen's oil-rich region still not being taken. Well, I don't know if it's oil-rich, but mineral-rich is the west, see? I mean east or west. I'm now confusing my directions. Well, they push up. Well, Saudi Arabia is now the new America. Well, this is when America says America time. And they're like, yeah. And the American, Israeli, and everyone's forces just flooding in. Morocco gets taken completely. They push towards Algiers. They surround Algiers and take it. They push over to Italian forces in Tunisia. And they push down, taking over Tunisia. Weakening Algeria. That is a pretty cool video idea, especially with this way of doing it. And well, their campaign speed up significantly. Their plan is to cut off Libya from the rest and then push into this unstable country. They push down the coast, as long with down the Nile and the Sudan for a bit, because they invade everywhere in the jungle, because, well, that's just how jungle fighting works. With Khartoum already being taken, well, they take Tripoli and then they push along the coast, taking all the coast. Well, so then they use to their advantage to do this. Just Blitzkrieg in. With some of the biggest encirclements in history just happening. Another one of the biggest encirclements in history happens. No, it's not really the biggest one ever, no. And then, well, the morale is completely gone of the rest of the Arab League, but they continue fighting. They refuse to surrender. But America's like America, and they just storm in. It's called Operation Sandstorm. Whatever they want to call it. I don't know what they'll call it. Operation America time. Well, it does work. America is now come to the treaty, everyone. Where the treaty is harsh on some nations, nice on some, the normal American-style treaty. America annexes these lands because it can. They annex these lands also because they can. Spain annexes these lands because, well, they have. Because do they really have to? No. Do they want to? Yes. Well, Tunisia maintains a part, and then France is boom. Italy is Boom. Israel is like, finally, I gotta have my true lands. Which they're not actually that much. Well, Turkey takes Lebanon and northern Iraq. Well, now do these nations annex their lands? A democratic Arab federation, I mean. Whatever a federation is. I don't know what a federation is, do you? Well, a democratic one at least, which makes the revolutionaries happy. Because, well, sometimes countries aren't careful with those rebels, and you know what they do? They rebel again. You need to be careful about your rebels. You don't want a new rebel. Some of the stronger NATO members, or bordering ones, well, they get fair amounts of land. Because they're fair. Not really. Treaties are never fair, even if they look fair. They'll all deceive you. Do Iraq war succeeded? Nothing one could argue. War is not victory for anyone. Because how can somebody say they won a war if everyone's dead? War is not about who wins, but who's left. Strongly agree. Poland is an amazing nation. And you know what country led to their victory? The second strongest nation in the world. But you can't guess who he is. Oh yeah, he's Ukraine. Well, Greece is like, yeah. If my enemy gets lands, I get lands. Make sure he doesn't get stronger than me. Because stronger, better, bigger, weaker, you know. You know the rules. If they invaded Switzerland, they would have lost. Because Switzerland, Bhutan, Liechtenstein, and Ukraine are the strongest nations in the world. With all the kings being replaced. Yeah, monarchies are bad. Definitely. Who elects them? Anyways. But besides that, we don't need monarchies. Agreed. And well, constitutional ones are pretty cool. Well, constitutional is also constitutionalized, constitutional. Well, it's a pretty cool looking federation. I like its new borders. Well, the rest of the Arab League is gave democratic leaders. Smart. And all extreme parties are banned because they learned their lesson from World War I. Well, this. With some democracies quickly becoming, well, pro this union, such as Sudan, which joins it. They join it, they join it, they join it. This American initiative is going pretty well. Well, it's a good video. I mean, I agree. Oh, Algeria makes the North African Federation. Well, it's a strong nation. many with North African nations joining. Well, it will be much like the Arab one. Libya is just, well, Libya. Well, look at the new borders of the world. Now time to... America wants those lands, but no, they don't get occupied lands. And, well, no, it wasn't supposed to go that way. Then, well, the blue nations. Well, before we go, well, that league, the Arab Union Federation, does the last thing for today's video, which is, well, surprise, surprise, Libya joins it, and then, well, Western Africa joins it. Well, pro-Western strong nation. And thank you for viewing. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And we're trying to get 50 subscribers. There'll be a special at 50 subscribers. And then 75, and then 100. And you know the way it goes. Specials are special, and being special is pretty cool. And you know, this new software is pretty good, when you agree. Look, see how big Russia is. Actually, that's false. Russia looks tiny there. This place is as big as Texas. And thank you for viewing. Please like and subscribe. Wild Mapper out.